Here we fucking go, baby. It's time. I'm hoping that part of this has made it in, but maybe not all of it. Welcome to Knights of Eveningstar, everybody. It's me, your Dungeon Master. It's me, your boy, your gal, your Dungeon Master. Mark SherlockHulmes, I'm here. We're going to play some D&D here on the D&D channel. This is Knights of Eveningstar, where our gang are playing as nobles who are running a small kingdom. But things are going to be a bit more traditional D&D today, as they're doing some good old dungeon delving adventuring. Who are those people? Who is this collective we that I am referring to? Why, it's these people. Here they are.
We are the we.
We are the royal we. We have
We
Anna.
have wee
Anna
dogs
Prosser.
too. Look at these wee dogs.
Wee dogs. Many wee dogs today. We got Anna Prosser with Nitsky. We got Mica Burton with Rue, I believe.
Yes.
And then we got Nate Sharp and Jonathan Indovino, aka ShadyPenguinn.
With no dogs, so.
Reenie's on the floor. She wants you to know that she's there. She's over there.
There could be a dog there. That's true.
There is. He's just off cam.
I feel like Wee Dogs was a huge missed opportunity by a certain video game company. I think
wow.
The same people who did Nintendogs?
Yeah,
Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, exactly. I want Wee Dogs from Wizards of the Coast.
Wizard
Dogs. Yeah.
It's a new rebrand. WETC.
WII Zerds.
My dog is eating my headphones.
No.
Don't do that.
You don't need those.
That's true.
That's fine.
He knows.
Who needs those for audio calls? One day the world will return to playing in person, but it's not this day. Not that I could. I'm a million miles away, so we can do that anyway. Anyway, moving swiftly on. I feel like this is going to be another one of those sessions where we're all very busy people, we're all very tired people, and there might be some mind shenanigans going on today.
Wait, we're fighting a mind flayer?
Sort of like,
we're fighting a mind flayer?
Yeah, yes. That's it. Yeah, exactly. An army of mind flayers.
How did you know?
How did you know? I'm just going to quickly change something in my now.
Shady, what have you done?
What did I do? No, wait.
Do you know, it's one of my favorite things as a dungeon master that, and I feel like other dungeon masters pick up on this, is when you present scenarios to your players and they start saying, oh no, it's blah, blah, blah. And it's not blah, blah, blah. But then you think as a dungeon master, but it could be blah, blah, blah. And so you make it blah, blah, blah.
It's
one of my favorite things.
Blah, blah.
I know, blah, blah, blah.
No, but it's great.
Wait, we're fighting small, really small teddy bears today?
Oh my
gosh. I love small.
3 hit point.
I mean, no, those are horrible. Oh, no.
Shoot.
See, it only works. The problem is the DM still gets to make the decision on it, so it doesn't always work, unfortunately.
Shit.
I mean, we're not. No, you guys. We're not fighting that new Mind Flayer Dragon hybrid. I believe is available in.
It is actually. Fizban's Treasury of Dragons
from Wizards of the Coast.
Called? Oh wait, Wizards of the Coast. There's a new book available.
Mm-hmm. Oh. And you can even get it on dndbeyond.com.
But if we're talking about new books, D&D just announced a brand new anthology of adventures set in a brand new multi-planar location. I believe the Radiant Citadel. Journeys through the Radiant Citadel.
I see
that.
13 adventures.
Saw that.
And it's from an entire POC design team and writer team who have come up with some amazing stuff. I'm really looking. It's going to be pretty cool. There's some very lovely people working on that book.
And
I'm very excited about it.
The cover is based in Serena's adventure, and she's very excited about it. And the little chaos gremlin on the front is very cute.
Serena is one of those people that I am very excited to see their work of. But yeah, that's a very cool example. Well done, Nate. Man, what?
Nate,
I can't believe that you led us straight into that incredible corporate promo. But there we are. We done it.
Exactly.
Amazing.
I'm good at this.
You're very good. Shall we, talking about fighting things and playing Dungeons and Dragons, I'm going to give you a very brief recap that I very hastily wrote. And then we're going to rock into playing some D&D ourselves. How does that sound?
Yeet.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Last time on Knights of Eveningstar, our nobles returned from the Feywild, where they had acquired a mythical substance called Illuvinor, which allowed them to increase the size of the many Tressim that visit Eveningstar, and in doing so, expand their military unit, but also acquire themselves 4 brand new mounts. Large Tressim. Each of the players picked a unique Tressim to kind of match their personality, and we spent a significant amount of time customizing these Tressim for various purposes. Some were trained in unique skills to help them hide, to help their riders rather hide in danger. Some of them were giving very beautiful makeovers and very beautiful descriptions of their looks and personalities. And then Clyve decided he wanted to try and add a giant trumpet to the front of his cat, who looks like that one cat from the Vine of the guy going, "It looks like grandma." And that was basically when we spent like 40-50 minutes on that, basically. It was a great time. I loved it. It was perfect to D&D that.
I saw something about like appreciate your cat day or something, some ad that I got. So I'm pretty sure we were just inspired by the universe.
That's true.
Perfectly inspired by the universe. It all just kind of blended together.
Yeah.
But now armed with these brand new Tressim mounts, and after a little bit of sort of moments of respite with a few NPCs, the party have decided to head off to secure a silver mine north of Eveningstar, hopefully increasing the wealth of the town. When they arrived, they found the camp that a number of surveyors were using to examine the mine to be empty, leaving behind supplies, food, rations, that sort of thing. And Azara discovered a logbook which detailed some elements of their trip. However, with no sign of the surveyors, the party made their way inside. And after spending about an hour or so exploring the various caverns and adjudicating the wealth of the mine, they came to a lift-like clockwork platform that they called up from the lowest levels, taking a significant amount of time to reach them. And just as they were about to board it, Azara, Agnis, and Tarkhal all noticed there was something just a little bit off about the chamber that the lift was held in. And with some good perception checks, they realized that a large gelatinous cube had taken residence in it, and a short battle ensued where they fought off the cube. Miraculously done, they dispatched it quickly and then decided to have a short rest out in the camp before they continued to investigate the rest of the mine. And that, my friends, is where we pick up today. So you guys, I believe you took your short rest. You did all the math required last episode. So
actually, I just used D&D Beyond because it's never been easier.
It's never been easier, Mica. It's just never before in the history of D&D has it been easier to take a short rest. Done. Well, with that short rest complete, what y'all doing? What do y'all want to do?
I think we should go safely down the shaft. Maybe we'll check for cubes again.
Yeah.
What if it respawns? Can cubes do that?
You don't know? I mean, does Tarkhal know much about oozes and cubes?
If they're not woodland folk, normally probably not.
Very much not found in the trees and woods.
Okay.
Does Agnes still have the orb out?
Yeah.
Azara's just gonna put the orb in front of the whole group and say, maybe we should just let this go first in case there are more cubes.
Yeah, I think it can just float like 5 feet from the ground in front of us.
Seems like the best idea.
Yeah.
Let me have a little read here. I don't have an encyclopedic memory, but D&D Beyond does.
I can
Never
read it.
been easier.
This small sphere of thick
Yeah.
glass weighs 1 pound. If you're within 60 feet of it, you can speak its command word and cause it to emanate the light or daylight spell. Once used, the daylight effect can't be used again until the next dawn. You can speak another command word as an action to make the illuminated globe rise to the air and float no more than 5 feet off the ground. The globe hovers in this way until you or another creature grasps it. If you move more than 60 feet...
So it doesn't have a duration.
Yeah. You move more than 60 feet
Nice.
from the hovering globe, it follows you until it's within 60 feet of you. It takes the shortest route to do so. If prevented from moving, the globe sinks gently to the ground and becomes inactive, and its light winks out.
Okay, nice. So with that, because it's kind of following you, it can't really go in front of you because you can't direct its direction, but it will float next to you like the whole time. And specifically, it's Agnis that it floats by because you're the one who's using it, right? So it sort of floats beside Agnis, but it won't go necessarily ahead of you at any significant distance. You're still going to have to lead this thing where you want it to go.
We'll just start throwing things then.
We should make a pole with a little net on the end of it and just like one of those fish.
Like an anglerfish.
I mean,
anglerfish.
You can see the camp with the surveyors were in. I mean, there's things like ladders, there's like 10-foot poles, there's tents like with tent poles and canvas. If you wanted to like try and make something to like, use to prod the air in front of you, you could easily do that.
Can we make
take much.
A little anglerfish thing to put on the front of Clyve, since he's always in the front? We just attach it to his back and it kind of anglerfishes in front of him, thus protecting him from potential cubes and also lighting the way.
Jimmy Neutron stuff right there.
You can make an. I think this would be, because you're not trained with like carpentry tools or anything, are you? So this would be a straight up intelligence check.
Teamwork as well,
Yeah, can I aid? Can I aid?
You can aid.
That give advantage?
Okay.
Yeah,
you said intelligence?
Absolutely. Yeah,
you're
just
smart.
A straight up intelligence.
Ooh, that was a 19 for my first roll and a nat 20 for my second roll.
The best anglerfish drift globe mechanism ever.
Yeah, this is using what there is available here. There's plenty of rope. There's leather straps for various tools. Maybe a leather worker's kit or something like that. And using strips of the tents, it's not too hard to manufacture a pretty basic thing that Clyve could basically wear as like a little backpack. And then it has like a long sort of like tent pole that bends out, and then there is a small sort of like ragged strips kind of tied into a net-like form that could hold the drift globe about, I would say, 5 feet in front of Clyve.
This is the best nat 20 I've ever rolled in my life.
Whether Clyve wants to wear it, go on, Nate.
Oh, I thought that. Oh, right, we're not on the cats.
No, yeah, this is the cats. But unfortunately, the Tresson won't fit in the mine shafts in the underground network, and they don't really seem to want to go in there as well. Like, that's not where they want to be hanging out.
I'm just gonna roll to see if I want to.
I give it a cool battle name, like a.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's like, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you kind of like strap it onto
the battle
Clyve.
orb. For you.
The battle orb. Nice.
More convincing.
Kind of
I'll roll at disadvantage.
Okay.
Okay, it was even lower. So now this is the best plan possible.
Now Clyve
this is like a cat having like, yarn, right? Like dangling like a ball for a cat to chase, right? Like Clyve sees the light and is like, oh. It's like reaching, it's kind of stretched out before him. But yeah, it illuminates the area in front of you, and the drift globe just illuminates the way ahead of you. And if you make your way back into the cabin, you can easily retrace your steps and wind your way back to that 15-foot by 15-foot kind of stone square, perfectly square as well. Like, one thing that you notice, and you kind of picked this up last time, the craftsmanship of whoever made this mine was very skilled. Like this is like perfectly cut stone. And this 15-foot by chamber, there are 4 chains on each corner of the platform. There is a very short sort of stone lip almost. It's not quite a wall. It's maybe only a foot high, but it's enough that would stop you from like walking off if you were trying to like sort of walk off of the platform. And then the chains go up into the ceiling, and there is a lever in the middle of the sort of platform that you can pull that seems to take the lift down. That is what you find. No sign of cubes. You walk around. You do find the area around the lift where you fought the gelatinous cube has this very acrid, oily smell when you enter it.
Gross.
And you can see that there's like patches. After about an hour, there's no sign of any sort of like gel or residue, but there are a few patches of stone that look damp, as if they've been recently moistened.
Gross.
Recently?
Yeah, it's in like, an hour ago.
Oh, I get it. From the lad. From the lad. I understand. I was getting
from the cube, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You got real sus.
I did. I was like, who's moistening these? Okay, never mind. All right. I mean, I think we're good now. There's no cube here, right?
There's no cube. Yep. You kind of examine, keeping your close eyes out. You've explored most of this floor of the mines. The only area you didn't check out were a couple of tunnels marked as unstable. But yeah, this seems to be the only way down that you've encountered so far.
Azara will just kind of sigh and look at the elevator and go, well, to the bottom then?
Tarkhal walk on.
I also realized a short rest is a short rest an hour.
Yes,
minimum.
Okay, so I don't have candor anymore.
Not unfortunately not.
I'm gonna preemptively summon candor right now.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So like we see the little hummingbird like shape of Candor sort of appear in the air with a fiery blast. And yeah, just sort of flies around, hovers around you happily. The platform's 15 foot by 15 foot, so there's room for the four of you. Not that Candor doesn't take up much space. There's room for the four of you, and then there's just enough space for maybe a couple of other creatures. And it does look like that the tracks. There is a section of track built into the floor of this platform that would connect to the various tunnels and mine shafts and things like that for some sort of mine cart to ride upon. But apart from that, yeah, there's just this one big lever, which you imagine is the way down, but it will need someone to pull it.
Pull the lever.
Clyve? Can do.
Clyve pulls it back. There's a little bit of resistance, Clyve. Like again, your immense strength, you don't need to worry about making a roll or anything, but there's definitely some resistance. Age and just wear has rendered it a little bit, perhaps not rusty, but difficult to kind of operate. But you eventually there is a kind of jolt. The platform almost doesn't drop, but it shudders for a moment, and then the chains begin to clink, 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 and very slowly, a rate of about 10 foot around, the lift begins to descend. And soon these perfectly kind of smooth stone walls begin to sort of stretch up around you as the lift begins to descend. Yes, Mica.
You said 10 foot around. Are we out of initiative?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just checking.
Just give you an idea of
it was
like
a very
the rough
specific
speed, right?
measurement.
Yeah, it was just. A round is 6 seconds.
Okay.
So if it helps you,
yeah,
it would be about 60 foot a minute, basically.
Okay.
This, if that alleviates any concern you may have.
Look, I was a smidgy concerned. Thought I just.
I'm getting big like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibes where you're on the elevator and there's yeah. My guard's up.
Well, that's fine. I mean, there's lots of video games where you get attacked on a lift. There's a bit in Metal Gear that happens. There's many video games where you get attacked on a lift.
Many of those. Yeah.
After about a minute, the stone elevator that you are on, so far, you've not heard or seen anything, just this kind of rattle of chains and the lift very slowly descending. About a minute and a half, you hear a terrible grinding noise, and the entire platform shudders and shifts suddenly, as if something has got caught between the lift and the wall itself as it's coming down. You hear this like cracking of stone. You hear like clockworks like break and snap. And when Mica comes back, I'm going to need everybody to make a dexterity acrobatics check.
You hate to hear it. You really do.
You hate to hear it. So I'll wait for headphones to go back on. Hello, welcome back.
Sorry, what happened?
So as you are going down,
oh
yes, well, so as the elevator is coming down, you hear this terrible grinding stone sound and something like stone cracking, and the entire lift kind of shudders and begins to shift as if something has got caught on it. You also hear the sound of mechanisms breaking, like metal snapping and chains kind of like getting clogged up. I need everyone to make an dexterity acrobatics check.
I got 5.
5
11.
for Agnis.
8.
11 for Azara. 8 for Clyve. Okay. What do we do on Tarkhal?
12.
Really? From
Tarkhal?
We all did very poorly.
I rolled very. Wait, am I supposed to use my dex modifier or my acrobatics modifier?
Acrobatics.
Okay, so that's only a +4. Yeah, so then it's 12.
12. Okay. So you are all knocked prone as the platform of the lift shifts to a fairly steep diagonal angle as the chains on one side kind of continue reeling for a moment, but on the other side it seems that the platform has got stuck or caught, and the whole thing swings down to a diagonal angle. Now as you slide, you kind of fall prone and you slide to one sort of this bottom edge. The stone lip is enough that you don't go flying off into the darkness, but you can now see that there is a gap between you and the wall that you could have potentially fallen down into. But as all four of you are on this bottom edge, you all immediately begin to hear the straining of stone and metal as you are putting all the weight on this far edge of the platform. And I think I'm actually going to have us all roll initiative here. Just to see orders of things.
What is happening?
So we got 10 for Agnes.
How far down did you say we were?
You don't know because you can't see the bottom of this thing. You were traveling for about a minute to a minute and a half. You're somewhere between 60 and 100 feet from where you started, up above. Tarkhal, what do we get on initiative?
8.
Azara Mithras, what do we get on initiative?
18.
Okie dokie. Well, Clyve of the Wildmane is actually the first one to react here. And yeah, like I think that Clyve, you're the only one who doesn't hear this straining of like stone and metal. But you are very precariously balanced on this sort of stone lip, and on this kind of swung down diagonal platform that's hanging in place.
Okay. I'm going to stay on it.
Okay. So you're just going to try and stay in position and not move. And
there's like
stay where you
I don't see anything else for me to do.
You could make an investigation or perception check to see if there's like anything that you can fix or if there's you can see what's caused the problem or something like that.
Perception 21.
21. So you kind of glance around and there's two things you notice actually, Clyve. The first one is looking up where the platform got stuck and then has dropped down. You can actually see that there is a huge chunk of the wall that's come loose and is now basically wedged between the bottom of the platform and the side of the wall. And that's what's basically caused this blockage. But it's huge. It's this huge chunk of rock and stone. The other thing you notice with a 21 is up above, there are small holes, sort of like, broken pieces of the stone that have merged into the wall. Perhaps they were like testing shafts or, areas where the miners were like looking for ore. And you begin to see black shapes beginning to sort of slowly move, making their way down the walls towards you guys on this diagonal platform.
Snakes? That's probably fine.
Are they snakes?
Could be snakes. Yeah, could be snakes.
Why'd it have to be snakes? I'm gonna
So keep in mind as well, so as this platform is at a diagonal, right, I'm assuming that you're basically balanced on a thing. If you want to climb up to that upper edge, or if you want to hang on and fight, you're going to have to use one arm to like keep a hold of something. So one of your arms, like your shield arm, for example, won't be usable. So you won't get the bonus for that particular item. Unless you have something like spider climbing or flying or anything like that. That would change things.
Can I unarmed strike myself?
You absolutely can. Just like kind of punch yourself or like claw yourself. Absolutely you can.
Cool.
Bite your hand.
Yep. And then I'm gonna unstable backlash with that.
Okay. Yeah. So just take like a point of damage.
Well, I mean, my unarmed does 5, so I just kind of gave myself.
Oh, there you go. Take 5. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Okay. D8. Roll 7. Wild magic table, barbarian. Everyone loves it when I look up stuff. Flowers and vines temporarily grow around you until your rage ends. The ground within 15 feet of you is difficult terrain for your enemies. So,
okay,
what can I do with that? Is there like?
So I would say that's that gives you like a climbable surface now, right? Before it was like almost pure stone, and it was going to be really hard to climb up to the edge where sort of this broken, stone is like lodged in the way. Now you've created like a trellis of vines and flowers and plants that have kind of like grown over this thing, creating like almost like a cargo net that allows you and your friends to sort of give something to grab onto, right?
Sweet.
As long
I
as
didn't
that
want to
effect
say
is in
anything
place.
because I didn't want to jinx it, but that was like the exact role I was hoping for. I'm like, maybe DM
Nice.
will allow vines to help, and they do.
Yeah,
So,
of course, that makes sense, right? Like
yeah.
that would 100% make sense. That like these like if it's difficult, if it's enough to slow down your enemies, you guys would be able to like climb on it, and it's going to make the climbing a lot easier, basically, if you have to make any athletics checks.
So you all see Clyve just look up, and he just kind of punches himself in the ribs, and he kind of. But then there's vines for everyone to use. Like, and I see it. And I guess if I can, I'll start. Oh wait, no, it would be an action to climb, right?
Yeah, I think that I mean, it would be your movement, but like it would be like half movement. It would take all your movement to get up to that top area. And then if you wanted to make an attack or use an action, you still could, for sure.
I'm gonna bonus action, and I'm just gonna daunting roar straight up and see if I can scare whatever it is that's coming toward us away.
Okay.
Nice.
That's an interesting
That's good.
question. All right. So I'm not going to make any saving throws for them because these creatures are actually immune to being frightened. But just roll a. Or should I do it? I'll tell you what. I'll roll 4d6. And any results of an even number will mean that something happens to these creatures. Okay, so two of them. So the roar kind of echoes up, and this roar echoes through this lift shaft. Like it just goes and goes and goes. And this thing, the roar resounds throughout this mining complex. Two of the creatures that are kind of like sliding down the thing, and you can't really see what they are. They just look like blobs of shadow. Two of them come loose as if the force of the roar has like shaken them off the wall, and they come flying down and land splat next to Clyve on the platform. And you now see what these creatures are. They are these stretched black puddles of goo. They just look like a black ooze that kind of, and then they sort of rise up in undulating, rippling forms. But two of them are still on the walls, and then two of them have now landed splat next to Clyve.
Is this like the puddings in Final Fantasy 14?
They don't have faces like a flan or anything like that, but they are like just these like living blobs of black ooze.
So much goop in this cavern.
So much goop.
There is a lot of goop. There's a lot of goop going on. But Clyve, anything else?
No, that's my weird but resourceful turn.
Very effective. Yeah, very effective turn.
Punch,
Azara
vines,
Mithras.
roar.
Sorry, my dogs are trying to eat each other.
That's fine. You gotta deal with dogs sometimes.
Azara is gonna look at the globs, look at Clyve, look at the elevator, look back to the globs and sigh. She had a plan, but the globs fucked it up. And she'll look at everyone and say, if this goes south and we need an escape, I will dimension door us out. But for now, let's deal with this. And I'm going to quicken a spell first. And then as my bonus action, I'm going to guiding bolt at the second level. How many are there? Two?
Quicken spell.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are two.
So as keep in mind, because you have to use your hands to cast a spell,
right?
You are currently like balancing on the edge of this platform. You can cast a spell. You just have to make an acrobatics check to basically like keep your balance, like to make sure that you don't like get thrown off as you're gesturing.
My components for my spiritual weapon is just vocal.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm gonna cast.
You don't have.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast my spiritual weapon at the second level, and then as a bonus action, I'm gonna use Word of Radiance because I don't have to use my hands.
So you're gonna quicken Word of Radiance.
Yeah.
Is spiritual weapon already a bonus action?
It is.
Yeah, so you can cast spiritual weapon, and then you can use as an action. You can cast Word of Radiance. Yeah.
Oh, then I don't even have to quicken my spell. That's so nice.
That's what I was trying to work out.
Thank you. Okay, then I'm going to do that. So it's a con 13 save.
For Word of Radiance, is this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what type of damage does Word of Radiance do?
Radiant.
That makes sense. And in the area, it hits all creatures within 5 feet of you or something like that, right?
Each creature of your choice that you can see within range.
And what's the range?
5 feet.
Okay, you will need to climb up a little bit to reach climb because this platform is about 15 foot by 15 foot. So you'll need to climb up about sort of like, because he moved up to the top. So you'll need to sort of climb
So I'll climb a little bit and then like shout at them. Do I need to do an acrobatics check or?
No, not with the vines in place now. Okay. So the lowest I got was a 14 on the 2 con saves.
Darn, so nothing happens.
So the radiant energy kind of washes out, but these creatures seem to almost go with the movement and they ripple themselves backwards as the light washes over them, seemingly having no effect.
And that's it.
Okay.
That's all I can do.
Agnis Crownsilver. Agnis.
I don't like these oozy things. The terrain that Clyve has made, these vines and stuff, is it so the platform's like this? Are the vines along like an this angle wall or along the platform?
They're on the actual platform of the elevator as well. So you've basically created like a cargo rigging across the surface of the lift platform. We currently have you and Tarkhal are on the sloped edge. Azara and Clyve have moved up to the top edge, basically.
I'm wondering if I were to cast Entangle with my vines and cast them on this wall, could I entwine them with Clyve's in such a way that we kind of lock this in place?
Oh yeah, I mean it would certainly help. It would if anything were to happen to the platform, it would massively help. It would take off a lot of the weight for sure. Yeah.
I yell, "Nice, Clyve," and then I entangle from the wall.
As long as Clyve's effect is still in place. Like if he ever loses the wild magic effect, that would rip the vines away, right? But yeah, you could 100%. So we kind of, if that's what you do, like we see the vines, you kind of almost use Clyve's vines to spread out and grip onto the smooth stone around, creating a sort of an anchor almost, as if like, so we currently have like it wedged on one side, and at least that will provide some distribution away. And you actually feel some of that tension of you guys being on one of this weighted down side. You feel some of that tension go, and the chains and the stones stop making as much noise as they do that.
Cool. And then Cander's out. So I point at the goops and I'm like, Cander, can you and Cander will use Flame Seed to attack one of them.
Okay.
My spell attack modifier, so that's +4.
We'll say that the 2 next to Clyve are C and D, and then we still have A and B on the walls about sort of 20 feet up.
I only roll an 8.
That is not going to be enough. And an 8 actually still hits. I thought it was going to miss. It doesn't. It still hits. These things don't look particularly hard to hit, but they do seem to be made of quite resilient material.
Cool. So let's see. I get 1d6 +4, which is going to be, I rolled a 6. So 10 plus my enhanced bond d8. And that will be 2. So 12 fire damage to that little goopy boy.
All right. We'll do that to Ooze D. So 12 points of fire damage. The fire does seem to ignite, but whatever this is, it's not made of tar or anything flammable. It doesn't ignite or burst into flames, but the fire does seem to like burn and sizzle away a portion of this goopy mess.
Great.
As it does so. Marvelous. All right. All done, Agnis?
Yeah.
All right. We go to Tarkhal. These things are very slow.
So is this still tilted or has our weight balanced yet?
It's still tilted, but it's now at least fixed to the wall
It's
on
like
the
locked in
tilted
place,
side.
tilted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's strengthened on that side now. But the elevator, you can hear it making grinding noises like it's trying to move. But yeah, you can still hear that something is wrong with the mechanism, and there's like a stone that's wedged that Clyve spotted, that he's pointed out that there's this like stone blocking the lift from moving.
If he's pointed it out, can I try to go towards that stone and like unwedge it with my dagger? I cut off.
Yeah, absolutely. You can make your way up, so you're kind of using the vines that Clyve's created. You don't need to make a check. You just kind of climb up next to him. It does put you next to one of these black blobs, but you can like lean over and using the Kiss of Silver try and wiggle it out. That is going to be a athletics check.
Okay,
Mr. Tarkhal.
I'm gonna roll better this time. I promise. I rolled a 12 plus 3, 15.
Just enough, in fact. You managed to get Kiss of Silver and you chip away and you managed to pry away a large piece, not quite the whole thing, but a significant amount of progress to unjamming the elevator. That's going to count as one success in this little problem that you have, and you need to hit a certain number of successes. I'm not going to tell you how many, but yeah, you managed to like prise away a section of the rock and it falls free, and you do feel like you've made good progress to like removing this blockage, Tarkhal.
Okay, and then I want to use a bonus action to disengage back onto the lift, just in case we get it. I don't want to be on the wall when it gets undone.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of like using your stealthy, agile rogue movements. You maybe slide down or swing from one of the chains over these goopy oozes. Whereabouts do you want to go? So it's like a 15-foot square. Clyve and Agnis in the goops are at the top. Do you want to go join Agnis? Sorry, at the bottom, and Azara's up
So
at
it's
the
like
top. Do you want to kind of go back to where you were? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go. So if Agnis is alone, I want to go to Agnis.
Yeah, so Agnis is currently at the bottom, and then Azara and Clyve are kind of more in the top middle. So you could go and rejoin.
Okay.
You're
muted.
You're muted, Mica.
I'm like 5 feet away from the goop,
That's
but
true,
hanging
yeah.
on the
You were
vines. Yeah, I'm not next to them. I'm 5 feet away.
Yeah, so you're more in the middle, and then
Yeah.
Clyve's more at the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll go to Agnis.
Yeah, you're 5 feet away though, because you had to be within 5
Exactly.
feet.
No, I'm 5 feet hanging on vines.
Yeah. All right. Tarkhal done. Okay, so a couple of things. The goopy oozes on the walls basically begin to move out, and it looks like they have these pseudopods that are reaching out, and they grip onto two of the chains, the two two side chains, and they begin using those to slide down onto the platform. However, all of you begin to hear the distinct sound of metal very rapidly being eroded as these things are like around the chains. You begin to see the chains pit and melt. And I'm gonna roll some damage for these chains.
Wait, I wanted to stay on the wall. That's what I meant to say. I want to stay on the vines and on the wall.
Oh, but you didn't though. You didn't though. So winch A and winch B both take 3 points of acid damage. And yeah, you can see that as long as these things are just burning, like these things are melting and pitting as these creatures are touching them. The two next to Clyve and Azara, like they are within 5 feet and their pseudopods reach out. They're going to make one attack against Clyve and one attack against Azara each. Clyve didn't reckless, so this is just a normal attack against Clyve. It's only a 10, Clyve, so you managed to kind of like roll to the side as the pseudopod slaps against some vines, and it does eat through it. It does like burn away at those with acid. And then against Azara, it's going to be a 20, dirty 20 to hit.
Sure. I mean, technically. Yeah.
Technically, yes.
Technically, sure. If you insist.
So that's going to be 5 points of bludgeoning damage, but then 19 points of acid damage, so 24 total. And also, Azara, what armor are you wearing? Because I know you were wearing some armor.
Yeah, I'm wearing adamantine breastplate.
It's not magical though, is it? It's just adamantine.
Yeah.
So reduce your AC by -1. So reduce your AC by 1 as part of that armor breaks. Like even the adamantine is like eaten and pitted, and it does seem to take some damage. I don't think it counts as magical. I'm going to check that actually. Adamantine. It's a magic item, but it doesn't say it's magical.
Let's just keep. Let's say it's magic item. Adamantine's magical. It's in Wolverine. That's magic. He's magic.
I don't think so. No, it's going to be a -1 to your AC, unfortunately, as this thing slaps against you and it pits and like adamantine's like this really tough material, but this acid is just like corroding like the straps of it and things like the connectors and some of the normal steel that's used in the armor is basically that the adamantine itself isn't being affected, but it's the connectors and the other parts of the armor which are being damaged.
Reenie's upset. You've upset Reenie.
She has every right to be.
That's right, Beans.
At the top of the round, as a brand new turn begins, because of Agnes's vines, I was going to check to see if the platform, if any of the winches break because of the extra weight on one side. Because of Agnes's entanglement spell, that isn't going to go off this turn. As long as those vines are holding it in place, it seems that that's enough to basically prevent the cables and the damage from getting worse. But there is no sign of this thing moving. And you also, along with the big rock, you can definitely tell that there's some sort of damage to the actual winches of the chains and things like that as well. But we start with Clyve of the Wildmane, top of the round.
Okay, so let's see.
So you currently have two black goopy boys next to you. You've seen Tarkhal kind of prise away a section of the stone that's blocking up the elevator. And then you can see these other two sliding down the chains, eating the chains as they go down.
I don't want them eating the chains.
Me neither, for the record.
That's probably not a good idea.
How far up are those?
Those guys, like they moved 20 feet down, so they're basically sort of on the corners of the platform. So you can reach them with a 5-foot step. You might risk one attack of opportunity.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And do you want to go for A or B? Because they're in different corners. So you can go for sort of the top corner or the bottom corner.
Whatever is closer.
A. All right. So you go for the top one. I will make one attack of opportunity against you for a 9. It's a miss.
It's a miss.
Swings past you the pseudopod, and then you kind of roll to the side and gripping onto the vines, you can easily get within reach of this other creature. And you can probably, in fact, because of the Agnes's spell, you can probably uneasily stand up because although it's a steep slope, you now have like something holding up, you know.
Okay.
Nice.
So let's see. Sorry, I totally blanked. I can't retain information.
No,
today.
that's fine. It's like a big thing. So you step about 5-10 feet away. You're in the top, let's call it the top right corner. And then it slopes down, and there's one of these creatures on the chain eating the chain away. And then you've got two in the middle of the platform.
And the thing eating the chain, is that within melee range?
That's now within melee range.
Okay,
yes,
then yeah, I'm gonna swing at that.
And it's absolutely fine to just be like, clarify where we are again, because theater of the mind combat can always get messy, and this is quite a complicated one. So, or like certainly a more unusual combat encounter.
Cool. All right, I start swinging.
Give me the math rock.
Is
make math rock go clicky clack.
28 to hit.
Yeah, that's gonna fucking hit.
Okay, so that is is that max? That is 13 damage.
Okay, so we deal the 13 points of damage to this thing, Clyve, and as Ebonscorn cuts through it, it splits it into 2 blobs.
No.
I made more of them.
That's 36. Oh, I've got to.
It made wee babies.
Wee bairns.
Oh, there we go. I can do it in 10 pages. And then that one is, let me do it this way. So yeah, these things split into 2 creatures, like slightly smaller. So that before they were about the size of a person, they were, they're larger than that. They're quite a big blob. They've now split into 2 person-sized black blobs, one of which is on the chain, and then the other one is kind of stuck to the wall and stuck to the platform. But they are now 2 of them before you.
Okay.
Mark, did you go to the Copperbell mines last night?
No.
No.
So
this is D&D monster. This is me using a monster manual monster, a classic monster.
So Clyve wouldn't pick up on why this is an issue at all. He would now swing at one of the new
things
ones.
to hit.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so swinging again. That is a dirty 20.
That's going to hit.
And that's going to be 8 damage.
Plus rage, right? Because you're raging.
I'm currently not raging.
Oh, you're currently not raging. That's true. So just 8 points of damage to that one. Let's do it to this one. That's going to be easier. So that's then 28. I then make putting a 3. Again? It does. Yeah, it does. So that's going to be is that 12, I think? Oh, it's actually, so 28 would go to 14. I'll just give it 4 temporary hit points. I can do that.
So then everyone would see like Clyve just kind of stabbing on the wall at these things, and they just
pretty much like these. So Clyve slashes one, it splits into 2. He then slashes one of the 2 split ones. And that becomes 2 small black blobs, which are now sort of like. However, because they're smaller, they no longer engulf the chain, and they kind of just land on your feet, and they don't seem to be threatening the chain anymore. But they are now like, you are very quickly becoming outnumbered by these things.
Not if I keep stabbing.
Not if you keep stabbing. So that's that. End of turn, Clyve. We've still got bonus action.
No, that's it.
That's it. Nice. Perfect. Well, Azara, you witnessed that horror.
Yeah.
And, see these awful things kind of multiplying.
And there's 2 on the platform, right?
So right now, okay, theater of mind combat. So we have a diagonal platform, right? Tarkhal and Agnis at the bottom of the diagonal.
Bottom of the platform.
You sort of in the middle.
Me in the middle.
And then Clyve in the top right.
Clyve top right.
Clyve is surrounded by 3 black oozes.
Surrounded by 3 black oozes.
We have 2 large black oozes basically in the middle of the platform next to you and Clyve.
Right.
And then 1 more large black ooze is now next to Agnis and Tarkhal on the bottom right.
On the bottom. Corner. Right.
So it's getting busy on here.
It's getting real busy. Okay. I'm going to. Is there one still on the chain?
Yes, that's the one closest to Agnis and Tarkhal.
And it's on the
chain.
Chain.
It's like surrounded the chain. It's like engulfed it.
And when Clyve hit the first one, did it break off? When it split, it fell off the chain?
Yeah, it's when he slashed it with his sword. Yeah, because when the fire hit it, it didn't split. But when Clyve slashed it with his sword, it split into 2.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. I need magical damage, but so my spiritual weapon is magical damage. No, it's force damage.
I believe it's force damage, yes.
Okay. But when he hit it once, it fell off the chain.
When it split down into small creatures, he hit it again and it became 2 small creatures, and that kind of popped it off.
Okay. So knowing that and wanting to save the chain, Azara is going to use her bonus action to cut the one on the chain with her spiritual fan.
Okay. I mean, make the attack roll. Yeah, make the spell attack. Yep. Go see if you hit.
Right. Spiritual weapon is +6. That's 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Cool. That's 1d8. So that's 5 points of force damage.
5 points of force damage. When the fan, even though the fan is making like a cutting action, the magical blast that like hits the ooze, it doesn't split. It does seem to like affect it and it does damage it, but it doesn't cause it to split into 2.
That's annoying. That's very annoying.
Just
10 feet wide.
Yeah, okay.
So
yes.
How high up is this thing on the chain?
It is at the base level now, so it's actually on the platform itself. It's like 5 feet off the ground, basically.
If I give my friends a heads up, can they have an advantage on a saving throw?
Watch out.
I think that would be represented by things like danger sense and evasion anyway. So like Agnis in particular, like she can only react as far, even if you call out, her reaction times are still going to be the same.
Okay.
But things like evasion and danger sense normally cover that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I would say I would give a bonus, but I don't think advantage.
Okay.
I might give like a +2 bonus to a saving throw if you call
out. Knowing that, I'm going to use my movement to get square in front of this slime. I want to climb back down and get square in front of the slime.
If you do that,
yeah,
the slime next to you will get an opportunity attack because you currently have one next to you.
I thought I was in the middle.
You are, and one attacked you. You were within 5 feet of one, so it attacked you because you had to be within 5 feet for Word of Radiance.
Okay,
so it's within 5 feet of you.
Then, so I'm trying to gust of wind it, and it's 60 feet long and 10 feet wide. Can I possibly, without moving from this thing, angle myself to just blast? Because I want to blast it off the chain into the chasm.
I would say you certainly can. Yes, you can do that from where you are. I think that I will give the choice to Anna or Shady. One of them will be in the area, but I will leave it to them who is the one who is closest to it because it's 10 feet wide. It's just going to catch them on the corner.
Right.
What's the save?
It's a strength save.
Hey.
Wait.
The twins are not strong.
Before I choose that, if I blow next to me at this slime to yeet him off into the distance, I don't catch Clyve, right? He also has
you could angle if you go for the one that's not on the chain.
Yeah, if I go to the one next to me.
You don't have to worry about hitting anybody. You don't have to worry about hitting anybody.
The twins are spared. I'm going to do that.
Okay. Sure.
So it has a strength 13.
Strength saving throw 13. That is a 14.
Fucking bitch!
But I believe gust of wind, you keep concentrating, right? I think it's like you can keep blowing this.
Yes,
gust.
Each creature that starts its turn in the line must succeed on a strength saving throw.
So the thing is like being whipped up, right? Like part of it's being pulled away like candy, like a kind of like I don't know what you guys would call it, but cotton candy. It's being like pulled away, but it's still stuck to the platform and it isn't being blown off completely. But it's definitely being affected by the wind, but just not enough to pull it completely free.
Gotcha.
But yeah, okay,
fine. That's all I have.
End of turn.
End of turn.
Agnis Crownsilver.
How many are still on the chains?
One is on the chain, which is the one closest to you and Tarkhal. Bottom left is on the chain.
I want to just point out that having read the spell description for heat metal, it never causes any damage or weakness to the metal. Are we in agreement on this?
Let's have a look. Let's have a look here. Let me make a judgment. I think that whilst let me put it this, let me do a little bargain for you here. The heat metal spell itself won't cause any damage to the metal. It will, however, weaken the metal. That if it does take any further damage, it will be more effective.
I don't know, Mark. It's magic. It's not like
it is magic. Hot metal is easier to bend, to shape, to like that's literally how metal gets worked into shapes. And
well, we're all gonna remember next time I want to actually bend metal that heat metal will work for that.
Oh, absolutely. I would let that, if you wanted to heat metal like a door to like get through a broken door, 100% you can do that.
All right. Well, how does the one that's hanging on the chain look?
I don't think it's been attacked. Yeah, that one's pretty fresh. Clyve's chopped one of them up, but this one hadn't been attacked.
I'm just gonna try to set it on fire instead. Okay. Let's just do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot my scorching ray at the goo on the chain.
Okay. All three against the same one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a +8 to hit.
Second level.
Oh, first roll gets a 10.
Hits. This thing has an AC of 7.
Okay, second roll also hits then, and third roll also hits.
Together. So 66, I think. All three. Yeah, give it to me. It doesn't have any resistance, so just roll it all together.
That's very satisfying. Oh my gosh. Will you believe I rolled 3 1s out of those 6 dice?
Ooh, that
7,
sucks.
11, 12, 13, 14.
But you do get extra D8, right? Because it's a fire spell.
Enhanced bond.
And you have Candor out.
That's another 2. And then to add insult to injury, Candor also flame seeds at it. Assuming it's not already down.
As the fire hits this one, unlike Clyve's one, this one doesn't split. Like, the fire hits this creature and it kind of ripples and burns away, but it doesn't seem to split any worse.
It's not down by the time Agnis does all that damage, right?
No, it's still away. Oh yeah, it's still up. Yeah, these things look pretty tough.
All right. Candor also hits it then and does... Oh my gosh, I rolled another 1. So dumb. So that's 5 plus another D8. Or wait, not 5. Yeah, 5 plus another D8 is 2, so 7 more fire damage.
7 more fire damage. So as Candle's little kind of flame seed erupts against it, again, sort of burning chunks of it, but it's still stuck on there and has not split.
That's all.
That's all? Tarkhal Crownsilver.
Okay, I see my sister going for this slime. And I calculate that if I hit this slime with my physical weapon, it might split. And clearly she doesn't want that. So I will not do that. What I want to do is I want to get as close to that slime on the chain how I can. However that is. Like, can I like climb up next to it? I just want to be within melee range. Yeah. And then I want to turn around. And then I want to turn around and walk away from it.
Oh, you want to try and provoke an opportunity attack, do you?
Smart.
I mean, yeah, this creature doesn't seem smart enough to like anticipate that as a threat, so it will absolutely, if you purposely provoke an opportunity attack, it will try and take one.
Sweet.
For a 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
So you're going to take 8 bludgeoning and then 21 acid. For 29
like bops
total
him
damage.
with its goop.
Bludgeon. Yeah, it's like a pseudopod, like a tentacle kind of like whips out and slaps him in the chest.
Okay, and then I just have to check something because I think Uncanny Dodge is a reaction, right? Or no? Yeah, it is a reaction.
It is a reaction, as is the thing you would like to do.
Yes, I would then like to Hellish Rebuke this little boy.
So the other thing is you're not wearing magical armor, are you, Tarkhal?
No.
Is it leather or is it studded leather?
Let me see. What do I have on my body in my inventory? It is regular leather, light armor, not studded.
You are fine. Like, the leather doesn't seem to be affected by the acid, so it doesn't reduce your AC.
Because there ain't no metal on this bad boy. It's just leather.
But you do take the 29 points of damage as you get whacked, and then you can Hellish Rebuke. So is that a dex save for me, I believe?
Yes.
Oh, 0. 3 minus 3.
Nice. I'll roll on D&D Beyond where it's even easier, but I only get 4 fire damage.
4 points of fire damage.
D&D Beyond.
It could have been easier.
It could have been easier. But that does seem to, like, the creature, this black blob does seem diminished. It seems like half of it has been burnt away by your incessant fire attacks between you and Agnis. And it looks about half of what it once was. However, Tarkhal, unless there is anything else on your turn.
I just rolled the D10. I rolled the 9, so I'm salty. I don't think I could do any bonus actions, sadly. Do I also do poison damage to it with a spell thanks to my patron?
That's an interesting thing that I was sort of like looking at. I think in the raw rules as that subclass is now, no. But that is something that I've taken on board, and I do want to sort of like adapt for the future. But unfortunately, I'm going to say no for now.
No queries. Then I think I'm gonna now, since I walked away from it, I'm gonna return to my post where I was prior at the start of this turn.
Okay. So the first thing that happens is, go on.
It seems like if we burnt half of it away, then it would be deteriorating the chain at a slower rate because there's less surface area to this acidic thing.
Yes, that is a case. I am not rolling like an insane amount of damage. I'm being quite reasonable with the amount of damage it's dealing as is. Whilst half of it has been burnt away to represent my descriptive form of this is where its hit points are at. Unfortunately, it's still attached and it is still going to do some damage to the chain.
Just a thought.
Only 2 points. Only 2 points of damage to the chain. So you can see, you're quite right, as it is, the acid does not seem as potent, and the chain, although pitted and damaged, is, going at a smaller rate. Next to Clyve, because Clyve now has 2 small puddings, 1 medium-sized pudding next to him. The medium-sized one is going to basically jump and kind of surround the chain, and that's going to try and sort of melt some of it away. And then they are all going to make attacks at Clyve as well. And that one does 4 points of acid damage. And you can see that one is becoming far more pitted. But yeah, now it is a lot of attacks against Clyve, as 3 of these things all try and whack you with their pseudopods. That is a 12 to hit Clyve for the first one.
Nope.
That's going to be, I can't hit Clyve to save my life. 13 to hit on the next one. And then 10, all 3. Like, I can't hit this guy. Like, it's Tarkhal 2.0. Like, these 3 things, and like, you're just, knocking them aside, rolling away as you're trying to like deflect these creatures. Unable to strike you. We then have, so that is going to be, I did it's the wrong bloody one. That one, and then that one is there. Okay. Tarkhal, the one next to you, is going to try and attack you again. As you sort of stepped away, it's going to sort of like reach out with a pseudopod. That also misses.
Nice.
And then Azara, one's going to go to you. And then the other one, which is still on the platform, is going to slowly drift its way towards
One of them
Agnis
has to make a strength saving throw.
That's right. The one that you're blasting. Strength saving throw. Here we go. That is a 6.
It gets yeeted.
So it gets flown, and it basically gets like blown against the wall of the stone chamber, right? Like it's like in a 15-foot cube thing. The blast throws it into the wall, and it sticks to the wall. It doesn't seem to fall down. It seems to stick to the wall itself, but it's being pressed and held there by the force of the wind, and it's not able to move. It's at a point as well where it can't physically get back on the platform from where its location is. There's enough of a gap where it physically can't get back. So it's just kind of stuck there. So that one isn't going to make an attack against you, Azara. Instead, the last one is just going to move and make an attack against Agnis. For a 24. Can hit everybody but Clyve. 24 to hit Agnis. So that's going to be 5 points of bludgeoning and then 18 points of acid. So 23 total. And I don't believe you have any metal armor, do you?
No.
No, so the armor effect does not matter. That is all of the black puddings. We go back up to Clyve. You're surrounded by 3 of these things, Clyve. And also, one thing I should point out, Clyve, is none of them look like they're injured in any way. Like, you've split them in half, and they're getting smaller, but they're attacking you with all the potency that they once had.
Okay, well, I should rage about it.
That's fair.
That sounds very advisable, yeah. Does your wild magic thing trigger automatically, or do you get to choose to use it?
That's a good question.
A very good question.
That on top of the other thing might have me ask if I can not rage.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
If you feel that's Clyve would keep it under control, knowing that he wants to keep this thing.
Yeah,
when you enter a rage, you roll on it, so it is automatic. You have to roll on it.
I didn't even find that, but also like it's my last rage, and I kind of don't want to use it on these
Probably
guys. So I actually don't think I'm gonna. I'll just start stabbing the floor.
Yep, sure. Do you want it? So you got the 2 small ones and then the medium one.
I'm gonna go for a small one and see if they stop splitting at any point.
Okay.
So that is a 14 to hit.
Hits. Don't worry about rolling damage. It does split into 2 tiny puddings.
All right. I'm going to attack again, and I'm going to attack one of the new tiny puddings.
Okay, hang on. I need to figure something out here.
Don't make a Russian doll character when you have a stupid barbarian.
I know. Well, I did. This is a monster. What do you want?
I'm gonna keep doing this until something else happens.
So now you attack the tiny one, right?
Yep.
So Wait, hang on. That's not half. I'm dumb. That's half. And that would go to that. And now you attack a tiny one. Roll attack.
That's a 28.
That hits. That one then splits. And I think that because there's not a size smaller than tiny, I'm gonna have that basically, like, the two halves just become so small they just evaporate, right? Like, there isn't a size smaller than tiny, so I think that just kills it.
All right.
Nice.
We have found the limit.
Microscopic.
There is a limit to these things, yes.
I love that brute barbarian force finally works.
Mhm.
Yeah, like, I'm sure that somebody's just like, actually, you'll find that monster, it does say that blah blah blah, but I'm just gonna rule that it's destroyed. Like, when you can get it to the point where it's like tiny minuscule jelly, it's no longer combat effective.
You can just
Nice.
step
All
on
right,
it at
so
that point.
Yeah.
exactly right. You just smush it and wipe it off on your boot. All right, Clyve, that is both of your attacks now. I don't know if there's anything else you want to do here.
No, this entire time, Clyve, and this is like
It's just like chop,
hilt,
chop, chop.
like hilt up, and I'm just
Get rid of these small ones. Yeah.
and eventually one
Nice.
stops splitting. It's like, and I'll just carry
I
on.
got it. Nice. All right, we go to Azara.
I love that he's
so there's
fully
there's still a
occupied.
lot of these slimes. There is still 2 next to Clyve. There is in fact, I think that there is 3 next to Clyve still. And then there's 1 next to Tarkhal, 1 pressed against the wall. As long as you keep concentrating, it's like stuck there with a gust of wind.
Right.
And then 1 next to Agnis.
Okay.
Also, the lift still isn't moving. Whatever the blockage or whatever problems is still there.
Right.
This lift isn't going anywhere.
That's also a whole thing. God, there's so much happening. So as a bonus action, I can move my gust of wind. If I moved it up to where Clyve is, to where all of those are, would it yeet them kind of up into the side?
I mean, it could. Yeah, it might do.
I mean, would that like yeet them out of combat?
It probably won't yeet them out of combat, but it would yeet them off the platform and buy you some time. These things don't look like they're particularly fast. They kind of snuck up on you the first time around.
Okay.
But that means that the one that you're currently pressing against the wall would then potentially be able to like slither its way back on eventually as well. But it will take time.
Because that was 15 feet. So he's over there.
He's like stuck to a wall, but he can probably like slowly make his way around to like the top, the angled section, and then climb down from there. But that's going to take time. These things, I will tell you, have like a very slow movement speed. You can see as they're sort of pulling themselves along like these amorphous blobs.
Gotcha. Can I?
So you could try that for sure.
Yeah. I want to move my wind so I don't catch Clyve, but I catch all the mini slimes he's stabbing at.
You won't be able to catch all of them if you don't want to catch Clyve. If you want to hit all of them, Clive's going to have to make the saving throw. If you want to catch, I would say 2 of them, you can do it without touching.
I'm going to catch all of them. Clyve has danger sense and he's strong. So
yeah. Danger sense is only on dex saves. This is a strength save, but he is strong. So strength saves from Clyve and then the 3 slimes around him.
Yes.
That's going to be a failure for that one. That's going to be a success for that one. And then that's going to be... So one of the smaller ones gets blown off and slams against the wall, but the 2 larger ones, the 2 medium-sized ones, unfortunately stay where they are.
Okay.
Sorry, the tiny one goes flying, the small one and the medium one stay where they are.
Well, they both will have to do that again at the start of their turn.
Yes, as long as you
Yeah, I'm still keeping that there. And then while I'm doing that, because that was my bonus action, for my action, there's one down on the platform with Tarkhal and Agnis.
There is. I just want to check in with Nate on that strength saving throw.
That's a 18.
He's good.
Yeah, you're fine. And then you're doing what with spiritual weapon on the other one?
No, because that would be another bonus action. I'm just looking down at the platform, and I'm going to cast guiding bolt at. I don't know if you can hear the growling. Guiding bolt at the 3rd level on that one down there.
Cool. The one that Tarkhal was and Agnis were attacking, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
That is a 16 to hit.
Hits.
Cool. I'm going to use D&D Beyond. It's never been easier.
It's never been easier.
That's 18 points of radiant damage.
18 points of radiant damage. Yeah, it doesn't cause the creature to split, and a huge chunk of it is kind of like ripped away or burnt by the radiant light that you summon through the bolt as it burns through it.
It's still up?
It is still, these things are tough. Like they are
Jeez.
heavily resistant. Also, like Clyve was slashing one, and it was just splitting. It didn't seem it was like it was taking any damage. It was just splitting into smaller sizes.
Jeez.
Also, Agnis, well, Tarkhal rolled unfortunately quite low, and so did Agnis on her fire spell. It probably would have been
Still.
dead. Yeah, these are tough.
All right.
Tough boys.
That's all I can do.
We're good?
Yeah, I'm
In
good.
that case, we've got Agnis and Tarkhal.
I'm still focused on this same goo.
Yep.
Just gonna keep doing the same thing. So
another scorching ray.
Yeah. A hit.
Okay.
Another hit. And another hit. Hooray! 66.
Yep. I'm pretty sure unless you roll a
58.
1, you're not missing these guys. So
That's going to be 23 plus
ooh, that's true. 23.
2, so 25 fire
25.
damage.
25 points of damage. There's like shreds of this thing, like it's been turned into like these shreds, these strands of the black glue, still wrapped around the chain, but heavily diminished, nearly destroyed.
Well, then Candor's gonna do the same. Also gonna hit, and that's gonna be 1d6 plus 4, which is 9 plus 1d8, which is 1, so 10.
It's just enough. I'm so glad you got that last bit of damage in, because that is just the amount left. The Candace fire speed burns away the remnants of this black amorphous blob, and it just burns away into a sizzling mess.
Thank goodness. I did not like it chewing on that chain.
No, that would have been very bad.
Also, is this Candor's first kill?
I believe so.
Aw.
Good
like
for
first
Candor.
last hit, I think so.
Good job,
normally just
Candor.
weakens away. Good job. Anything else, Agnes? You do still have one next to you.
I don't think let's see, that was a action and a reaction, or sorry, action and a bonus action.
So yeah, you're pretty much, unless you want to
Yeah,
get
I don't think I have anything
attack.
else.
All right. Tarkhal.
Are there any of the super tiny baby boys around?
Yeah, there is a tiny one next to Clyve. There is a tiny, a small, and a medium-sized one next to Clyve. The tiny one actually got thrown off and is currently about 15 foot up the chamber, stuck to the wall by Azara's spell. So that's like 15 foot up on the wall. And then there is a small one and a medium one next to Clyve. And then there is a big one next to Agnis. And then there's another one on the opposite side of the wall, chamber wall.
Okay. And the small and medium one are both full health because they've just been sliced and diced but not damaged. Then I guess
well,
I'm gonna...
they split their hit points, but they don't take any extra damage, basically.
Yes. I'm going to do second verse, same as the first. I want to walk over to the one that Agnes has been working on and kind of and then walk
That
away.
one's dead.
Gone.
Agnes just
Oh,
destroyed
that one's
one.
dead. Oh, that's
Bye-bye.
right. Okay. Then I guess I'm gonna do that to the small one.
Yep, you can do that to the small one next to Clyve. Yep, that is
Yeah.
A3. So you basically run up and then leap back and let it kind of take a slap towards you, which it will do. It doesn't know what you're doing. 15 to hit.
15 ties with my armor class, so it does hit.
Okay, that's going to be 5 points of bludgeoning plus 13 points of acid, so 18 damage total. And then I have to make a dex saving throw because you're going to Hellish Rebuke, right?
Yeah. And I'm rolling acoustic, baby.
3, 6 minus 3, fail.
Nice. That is my D10. Okay. That is a 6. Oh, that's a 9. The dot is on the bottom. 9.
Nice.
Plus 5. 14 fire damage.
14 points of fire. Heavily reduces this smaller one, like nearly consumes it, but it's just enough left. It's these thin, wispy strands of black ichor, but heavily damaged.
Okay, I'm kind of pissed. There's the tiny one on the wall too.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna toss my Kiss of Silver because Hellish Rebuke is a reaction, so I'm literally gonna try to hit it on the wall.
You want to go for the tiny one stuck to the wall?
Yeah, because like I can't. I know I can't. I don't think I can kill a different one. Maybe I could because Kiss of Silver is magical. I don't know, but I'm gonna go for the tiny boy. 16 plus 8.
Hits. Causes it to split into 2 infinitesimal creatures, and it just and then Kiss of Silver snaps back to your hand.
Nice. I'll end my turn.
Nice. I end my turn. The small one that just attacked you is going to try and take another slap at you, Tarkhal. That's a natural 1, so that's going to be a miss. The medium-sized one is going to continue eating away at one of the chains for a total of 6 points. Oof. You can see that the chain nearest Clyve, one of several of the metal links are now so thin that you can see them beginning to shake under tension, and they are close to snapping. Not quite, but close. That one is going to take an attack against Clyve for a 13 to hit, which I'm pretty sure is a miss. One of them that Azara threw against the wall very slowly crawls its way up and along the side and is now going to start making its way down towards the platform again. It's not on there quite just yet. And then lastly, we have one next to Agnis, who is going to make an attack against Agnis for a 19 to hit, which I believe will hit for 4 points of bludgeoning plus 16 points of acid, so 20 damage total, Agnis.
Ouchies.
Ouchies. We go to Clyve. Clyve, you currently have one on the chain in front of you, one small boy that just got set on fire by Tarkhal, and then the other one is the only other one on the platform is next to Agnis and is attacking her.
And one of these chains looks like it's close to breaking.
The one that is the one that the black ooze is currently surrounding in front of you looks really close to snapping.
Can I, Lion Man, Steve Rogers helicopter hold, try and just grasp onto both and keep this thing held up before it snaps?
Fuck yes, you fucking can. So you you have to basically like put yourself next to the black ooze, but you grip the chain in one hand and then like you grip the stone platform under the other. And although it's currently held, you're beginning to like be ready for when this thing snaps to take it.
Yeah,
but that's going to be like
hits.
Yeah, okay, so like no attacks, but you're just positioning yourself ready for when this thing goes. I love it. That's so
Clyve is Captain America.
Nate, you know what, Nate? Take it. I don't rarely give out inspiration. Take inspiration because I fucking
Captain
love that.
America.
Captain America.
And Nate got inspiration, which is
Oh,
huge.
Yeah,
bless.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
Well, because like you're completely sacrificing not attacking to do something really heroic and cool. I love that.
That is really
That's
cool.
bad. Grab.
Yeah.
Yes.
Azara, then we go to Azara. So Azara, like you're channeling this wind, and then you see Clyve kind of like push through it like a goddamn hero and like grip on like bulging cat muscles.
That's really badass. Wait, did the slimes roll for strength checks?
They didn't. I will do that now. They should have done that, right? So strength saving throw. Okay, so the small one, we'll say that after it slapped Tarkhal, it got thrown off and is stuck to the wall now.
Okay.
And then the medium-sized one, which is currently around the chain, is also, so that kind of goes and slaps against the wall as well, and gets blown off.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Then bonus action, seeing the other slime try and come back, fucking moving my wind back to the other one and be like, no, you don't.
You're kind of like, you're fending these things off and like blowing it away. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I'll make a saving throw, but it's going to impede its movement. It fails anyway. So you blast it like 15 foot up and it's still stuck to the wall. So it's even further away than it was, keeping this thing completely at a distance.
Exactly. And then you said there's still one on the platform down there?
There's one attacking Agnis, and Agnis is starting to look pretty bad.
Yeah, she's looking pretty bad. So I'm going, fuck it. We're gonna 5th level guiding bolt that one down there.
Okay.
Might as well. I like that my spiritual weapon's just kind of chilling. I haven't really used it.
Yeah, because you're using the gust of wind now. So that which is proving very effective at keeping these things at bay.
22 to hit.
That's a hit.
Gonna use D&D Beyond because never easier. 25 points of radiant damage.
25 points of radiant damage. A big hit. It diminishes the creature, but it is still unfortunately standing.
Also, whoever attacks it next
massively injured
gets
advantage. That's a very good point. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Nice.
Nice.
And that's my turn.
All right, Agnis. So this thing's just got blasted by light from Azara. It's kind of subtly glowing. It looks heavily injured, the one next to you. But you can now, see Clyve trying to hold this thing at bay. So most of the slimes have been blown off the platform by Azara's wind and are now stuck to the walls. But they are slowly trying to make their way back onto it, that you can see.
Not on my watch.
And the lift still isn't moving. Your vines are still holding it in place, but it's not moving in the slightest.
I've been waiting for just the right time for this spell, and I'm so pleased because Agnis sees Clyve superhero mode and is like, wow, and casts enhance ability on Clyve with Bull's strength.
Nice.
Which Bull's strength means that you have advantage on strength checks and your carrying capacity doubles. So I imagine that your like already flexed muscles just go like boop, 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 boop,
they like swell, right? Like we get like a Popeye moment, like and they like pump up, and like Clyve, you feel like this amazing surge of strength in your body erupt through you.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know why it's giving me. Oh, never mind. It gave me an option to roll, but that's for a different ability. So
that's for the Bull's endurance, which gives you 10 hit points, I believe. Nice.
And then I will have Candor just continue flame seeding what looks like the most hurted slime.
Yep, that would be the small one, which is currently stuck to the wall.
All right, that one gets attacked with a 13 to hit.
Hits.
And that will get 7 plus.
7's enough. You don't need to worry about the rest. The
plus
small
1.
one is burnt away as Candor's Fire Seed racks up his second kill, as that little small blob that had been stuck to the wall by Azara's wind burns away into nothing.
Candor does a celebration dance for the last hit.
Does like a little loop-de-loop.
Yeah.
Or does like a little chicken dance. I like that. Yeah. Perfect. All right. In that case, we go to Tarkhal.
What's happened?
You're back. You've probably been messed around, but it's fine. We'll just continue.
So I think that there's just the one guy left that's on the chain right now. Yeah.
There's one which was blown off the chain, but is very close to it, like that was blown off. And then there's one attacking your sister. There's one attacking Agnis on the platform with you guys.
Okay, and their sizes are
it's still the one attacking Agnis is still large. It's still a big boy. The one on the chain is medium sized. The one next to the chain is medium sized.
Okay, I'm gonna go and try to hit the one that's medium sized next to the chain actually, because Agnis has been doing work on the other one. I have to use my Kiss of Silver now because I'm all out of spell slots.
All right, go for it.
I roll it's a crit. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't take damage. Oh, it's a magical item.
What kind of damage does a dagger do?
A dagger does piercing damage, so it doesn't slash.
The damage takes perfect effect. Yeah, it takes it. This is a normal. Time. And Clyve is technically within reach of this as well.
Wow! So that means it's base 38. Do I need to roll anything?
You a little bit more for me. Yes.
Okay, I'll roll a little bit for you. I roll 5. And then I roll another 16. So 21 damage on top of the 38.
So yes, that is, and so that will, so sort of as this thing is like looming towards the chain again, it's kind of reaching away from the wall, hoping to like grab onto the chain with its pseudopods. Flick of the flash of Kiss of Silver, and you just watch as you kind of very anime style pierce through the middle of this thing, and then it just explodes, probably over Clyve a little bit, coating Clyve in like black goop. But yeah, it kind of erupts into goops around it.
Nice,
completely destroying it. Nice.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. That's my whole turn.
That's your whole turn. So now, the black pudding on the wall will make a strength saving throw against Azara's spell. That's a 5. It is just like pinned, and it keeps getting pushed up into the air, up and away from you. The very last one, which is just going to continue attacking Agnis. Like, these aren't particularly intelligent creatures, so it's just going to go for Agnis again. That's an 18 to hit, I'm afraid, Agnis, for 5 bludgeoning and 19 acid, so another 24 points of damage to Agnis. And then we are back at the top to Clyve of the Wildmane.
Agnis is looking yucky.
At the top of the round, let's see. You still have the vines in place. Clyve is now holding this thing. So the chain, it's become weakened so much that the weight of the stone platform, you can see these metal links beginning to bend and and stretch. But Clyve, because you're holding it in place, the lift is currently not in any danger of breaking free.
Sick.
So if you want to, you can continue just holding it. Or it does look like, this is only one of 4 chains. You might be okay if one snaps, but the other 3 remain. But if you don't fix the mechanisms, it could make that worse as well. So
I'm just gonna hold tight.
okay, nice. Right, just keeping that held action in place. I love it. Azara.
Yeah. I'm gonna use my movement. I'm gonna end the wind because I think it's far enough away at this point because there's only that one and the one with Agnis.
It's like it's like 40 feet away. It looks like it's going to take some time to get to you.
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to end the wind, which is a free action, and come down to where Agnis is. I'm going to quicken this spell. Confirm. I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on Agnis at the 4th level.
Okay.
Which is 18 points of health.
18. Very good.
And then as my bonus action, I'm going to Toll the Dead on this little nugget.
Okay. Sure.
Wait.
What do I need to do for that?
Will necrotic hurt it?
Yeah, I don't think you know until you try. It's not being hit by a necrotic attack so far. I've also just realized I should have been having Agnis make concentration checks for the entangle spell this entire time, and I completely forgot.
Well, you didn't.
I didn't.
I didn't realize that was concentration.
It's concentration, yeah. So all of those hits that you were taking, I mean, chances are you probably, it's a high chance that you would have succeeded on the check anyway, but silly me.
Well,
yes.
You know what?
You get those hit points, Anna, by the way.
Huh?
18 hit points.
Lost?
No,
Healed.
given.
Healed. Great.
I'm not going to risk it with Toll the Dead. I'm just going to shock and grasp it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it springs from my hand. I don't have to actually touch it. Okay. It's a springs from. So it's like a static shot. Okay.
Sure.
17 to hit.
It hits. Don't roll damage. Unfortunately, as lightning touches this thing, it ripples and it splits in 2.
No! Lightning?
Lightning damage does it, yeah.
That's a personal attack. That's a personal attack is what that is. I should have gone with necrotic.
Yeah, well, you didn't, unfortunately. I was like, yeah, you don't know. Maybe necrotic will work.
And I was like, nah, that's silly. It's black.
So
why would necrotic
the large blob next to Agnis becomes 2 medium-sized blobs.
Sorry, I tried.
It's okay.
Agnis.
You said it's my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Are the two medium-sized blobs are like right next to each other, right?
They're right next to each other and right next to you.
How mad am I?
I love madness. I'm a big fan of mad plays.
Yeah.
When in doubt, just go for it.
I know. I always forget the name of this spell that I'm looking for. But it's basically like moonlight, but it's fire. It's like a big column of fire.
Moonbeam?
Yeah, moonbeam.
Flame strike.
Flame strike. Where are you, flame strike?
Flame strike? I'm sure it's called flame strike. It might be 2 words. Yeah,
there.
2 words. Flame strike. Yep.
How much damage?
40-foot high, 46 fire damage and 46 radiant on a failed save. Each creature in a 10-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder.
Nah,
So
that's we don't need that. We can use flaming sphere instead at
Yeah.
the 5th level.
Ooh.
And I'm
Ooh.
just going to. Oh, it says a 5-foot diameter sphere of fire appears in an unoccupied space.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but any creature that
Keeping
ends its turn within 5 feet of it.
Yes, so you could place it behind them on the platform, for example.
And that would be away from my friends, not within 5 feet of my friends.
That would be. I would say you can position it in a way that it won't affect you and Azara for now.
Okay. I'm mad. I do
Mhm.
that. Ball of fire.
Okay. And you're casting this at 5th level, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3 extra d6 on top. And I need to make some dex saving throws for these very. Oh, that's a failure. That's a 2. Followed by a 6. So both fail, so they're going to take full damage, I believe.
Which is 18 plus 1 for my enhanced bond, so 19 fire damage.
19 points of fire damage to each of these now split creatures. They look in a very bad way. Having just been split into 2 smaller forms, the flaming sphere engulfs them, and just bare shreds of their form are left, nearly completely eradicated.
And do they both look about the same amount of bad?
They do. Yeah, they look almost identical. When they
Then
split, they were basically made into 2 halves of the same creature.
then Candor will just spit derisively at one with a
Yep,
14.
and you do 1d6 plus 4 minimum, right?
Yeah.
It destroys it. It destroys one of them. So there's just this one left. This one small blob, this one medium-sized blob, sorry, is just remaining, just these tattered strands. But Candor taking its 3rd oozy victim as it spits flame.
Candor's my finisher today.
Yeah, Candor's been MVP. So with that, unless there's anything else you want to do, Agnes, we're going to go to Tarkhal, and I think that
I'm
this
good.
could potentially be the end of things.
Yes, I will whip out my kiss of silver and try to kill the lad.
Okay, love it.
Is there anyone within 5 feet of this little lad?
Yep, Agnes.
Oh, sweet. I rolled a 23 to hit.
You hit, and I'm pretty sure your base damage will deal more than 5 points of damage, so it is destroyed. So you watch as like a flash of Kiss of Silver takes this last one out. Now, just for the sake of brevity, there's still that one that's like high up. It's about 40 feet away, and the platform isn't moving. But without any of these slimes to immediately threaten you, I think it would be quite easy for you guys to work as a team to dislodge the stone that's blocking the way, and then to basically unjam the mechanisms rather than doing out the full skill challenge. It was mainly there if you wanted to get the lift moving before you got attacked. And yeah, we're going to basically wrap it up there as you guys descend. The lift begins moving once again, leaving whatever that gross blackness was still stuck to the wall behind, as the lift, limping, makes its way far down. And you realize that if you had fallen off, this would have been a very long and very deadly trip, as it takes you another 2 minutes, approximately traveling, or perhaps even 3, traveling about 200 feet down. The lift eventually comes to rest in a dark, natural cavern. As you can see, the lift kind of opens up into a sort of natural cave with a worked flat stone floor, as if somebody has taken great care to like even out the floor here, but the walls have been left as natural caves and caverns. And it seems to divert into 2 directions. One seems to lead off to the east, and one seems to head straight ahead of you. But as you come down, you immediately become aware, and I think Agnis would spot them, crouched in amongst a bunch of like rocks and stalagmites. You actually see a very terrified looking goblin, young goblin woman wearing the robes of the surveyor team. You can see like workers' robes, you can see like Eveningstar colors, and they are basically watching the lift, but you can see they look in a bad way. Like they're trying to hide, but they look dehydrated, they look like malnourished, and they are just sort of like clutching themselves, and like they see the lift coming down, and they begin to sort of like barely crawl out from these rocks, like lift. Like they're like trying to reach towards it as they crawl along the ground.
No. I'll run up and cure wounds on them.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Just give me an amount of HP.
That will be full. I rolled
Oh,
12.
12 hit
Do
points.
I
The
think I
goblin's
get
eyes kind of.
I think I get
Oh,
enhanced
yeah, I think you
bond
get
on
another
healing
D8.
too. Yeah.
You do, yeah, you do. Well, the goblin's eyes. I mean, that's more than enough to put this goblin at 4 hit points anyway.
17.
But their eyes kind of like flutter open, and they're like, Lady Agnes, water, food, please. I don't know how long I've been down here, but there's been nothing. And like you can see, like her lips are all still cracked. Like there's kind of like saliva's dried at the corners of her mouth. She looks like quite thin and sort of like bleary eyed, stomach kind of bloated. Definitely suffering from starvation and dehydration. But the healing brings them more to consciousness, and they're like, the cube, did you? And it like looks towards the lift, like, did you kill it?
It's
Did
gone.
you kill it?
It's gone. Don't worry. It's gone.
We can get out. I can get out. Just looks delirious and like completely out of it.
Do I have food and water with me?
I don't know, do you?
I just figure that like when we're adventuring, we have that stuff, but we've never like said it outright.
Well, I think that the difficulty is like with the Tressim, like you knew that you're only a day's ride from Eveningstar, right? So you might not have thought to necessarily bring. I think you would have water. I think that would I don't know if you would have necessarily brought like food unless somebody else has
Yeah.
some in their inventory, but you definitely have a water skin and you can offer that
Yeah.
to this goblin. They very greedily kind of like drink it and like just takes a few
Easy
moments
now,
to take some
slowly.
deep and then like she does kind of stop and then like takes a bit more and like.
Mhm.
Eventually it's just like, oh, thank you. If you do you have anything, any food or anything, I don't care what it is, just anything.
I look around to the others. Does anyone have? Oh,
I
I
don't have
have
any.
rations in
You
my.
do have rations. I don't have any rations in my inventory.
Okay, yeah, if you've got some rations, that's like dry like trail mix stuff, so it lasts a long time. So you can definitely pull that out, and it's like mixtures of like dried berries, dried jerky, or like alternatives and like nuts and things like that. And yeah, she just begins immediately sort of like trying to stuff as much of it into her mouth as possible, but also sort of like slows down and realizes that she needs to like pace herself. And she's like, oh, thank goodness you came. I can't remember exactly what happened. It's very strange. I'm Kira. I'm with the surveying team. What? How? Where? What? When did you get here? How long has it been?
We've only been here a short while, but you've been here quite some time. How did you survive down here?
Memory's so. I remember we came down on the dwarven contraption, the lift. We came down to examine the lower levels, and there's a citadel, there's a dwarven fortress here, just to the north, and she points down one of the tunnels, just down that way, and there was we found it was an old ancient place, but we began to encounter strange oddities. There's some sort of slime, some sort of mold that was growing all over the place. A few of us got sick, but we pressed on, and then it's like my memory just goes blank. The next thing I remember, there was a chamber, a dwarven antechamber, and I was running for my life, running from something, and I can't remember what it was. I jumped across some sort of bridge contraption, but it fell away, and I heard some terrible noise behind me. But in my blind fear, I just ran into these tunnels, and I was trying to make my way back to the surface when I noticed that there was the cube, the gelatinous cube was in the lift. It had moved in, and I couldn't get close enough. So I've been wandering these tunnels, trying to find another way up, or find some way to lure the cube away, or find something to eat or drink until rescue came. But there's just nothing. I couldn't find anything. But it's so odd. I don't remember anything once we entered the dwarven fortress.
That is strange. Well,
But I think the others were with me. They must still be in there.
Well, don't worry. We'll get you out and we'll get the others as well. Do you think the mold could have altered your memory? Is it some sort of spore?
It is possible, yes. I can't say for sure. There was some magical auras. I remember that one of our companions had a wand to detect magic, and we did detect that the dwarven architecture in general has very slight enchantments. But the mold, I think, it was strange. It was partially magical, partially natural. But I mean, I guess it could be. But we walked through. I know that some of us got sick, but I didn't seem to be affected. It was when we got inside that it's like a veil is pulled over my memory. I remember nothing until I was running, breathless, sweating, screaming out of there. But I can't remember. I'm so sorry, my lady. I'm so sorry. But yeah.
Azara, does that sound like any enchantment you know? Some sort of memory loss spell from a room?
DM, does that sound like anything Azara would know, like a memory loss spell from?
Yeah,
a
I don't even
room?
think you need to. I think the problem is, and I think Azara knows, is unfortunately there's many
There's
things that could
tons.
be responsible,
Yeah.
right? But even outside of spells, things like charm spells,
Mhm.
some of them a person wouldn't necessarily remember. You know that there's a spell that modifies a person's memory,
Mm.
that can sort of erase events over a period of time. Charm spells, most people seem to remember, but if they were dominated, or suggestion spell could basically say forget the last 24 hours, or don't remember anything that you do for the next, there are many ways around it. Then there are monsters, there are other creatures that can cause things like memory loss, or even traumatic experiences could be responsible. Maybe that this poor goblin just saw something so horrible that their mind is blocking it out.
Can I do possibly an Arcana or a nature check on like
Mhm.
molds or like magical plants that I know?
You can make an Arcana check for sure.
25.
25. I mean, yeah, like there are many sort of natural molds and fungus and spores that can grow around the place, but also, I mean, encountering that gelatinous cube and those black oozes, I mean, those are normally the creations, like they are normally made, right? Those aren't natural creatures. Slime, like a hardened resin or slime that could look like mold, would kind of go in conjunction with some of the things you encountered. Whatever happened here, it was certainly esoteric. With a 25, you do know that there are some cults and there are some wizards who experiment with these things, and there is even rumors of a demon lord, a demon that is sort of connected to oozes and slimes, that could be responsible. Jubilex is the name of such a creature.
Azar will impart all of this onto the group, and will add whatever is down here, whatever is in the citadel is not gone. I fear that in order to clear this mine for our own, we will have to defeat whatever is causing. And she just gestures.
Yeah. Or whatever it is the survey team must still be in there. You must find them. You must rescue them. I'm afraid I'm not brave. I ran. I had no way of going back to rescue them, but maybe you can. And that is probably where we're going to end the episode. Just setting you guys up for our last episode, I believe. The last one in the season.
Dun, dun, dun.
Season 4 finale.
Why do I have a feeling we're going to be fighting a demon? Or a wizard. Or a wizard demon.
Mind flayer.
Or a mind flayer.
Teddy bear.
Or a
cute
teddy.
little tiny
Gelatinous mind flayer.
Ew.
Oh my gosh.
Gross.
They're already so gelatinous. How could they get worse?
Yeah.
We should
or
all make
jellyfish.
note that we may want to consider a short rest before we start
Yeah.
next episode.
Yeah. I
maybe
love that note.
the people that are on very low hit
Love
points
that note so much.
will need that. But yeah,
That was fun.
nice.
I
Good
like
job.
the puzzle of like don't
Yeah.
fall and
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, don't fall and
Yeah,
fight.
it's a good example of that. Is just a bog standard medium encounter that shouldn't, for a party of your level, that shouldn't be too much of a challenge. But you put those kind of monsters in a situation that limits a lot of players' options, or like gives them other objectives, can really change it. Like you guys really had to just weather a lot of those attacks while you were trying to do other things. Like things like the splitting in two and stuff like that really can become a problem if it's not dealt with. So
I just had
very
fun
good.
with the like creative stuff too of like how
Yeah.
can we
Yeah. Always love that stuff.
Because
That's
before
always
the
really
monster
good.
showed up, I was like, cool, I'll just dimension Doris out and then I'll polymorph and then like fly us safely down. And then it was like, just kidding, fight. I was like, I don't know what to do now.
Well, the other thing as well is it was a really good thing Agnis did that entangle spell, because I had a thing where basically if too many of you are on the broken side, every turn you roll a d100 and and one by one the chains break and fail if you roll under a certain amount, because like the weight's breaking it,
Oh
and then
my
it gets
God.
worse and worse. So eventually it could be that the whole thing just collapses and breaks. But because Agnis was like, I'm going to anchor it to the wall, that creates a really great solution, and means that you didn't have to worry. And then we had Captain America just holding it in place in case
There's some
anything
good
did snap,
synergy.
which it nearly did. Two
Mhm.
more hit points to that chain, and it would have snapped 2 more points.
Wow.
But the wind blew it away.
It did. The wind blew it away, so it probably wouldn't have taken that damage in the end. But
We had
hey, these
plants
things happen.
and wind and fire. Earth,
was such
wind, and
a-
fire.
It was such a
Earth,
night.
wind,
Do
fire.
you remember?
I remember that we'll be back next week.
There it is.
Until then, let's do some shout outs, and then we'll see you next week for this little epic conclusion.
Who starts,
Let's-
Mark?
I
Mark
think Mark
starts.
starts.
Mark.
Sure, I will start. Marks. Hey, I'm Mark Hulmes. You can find me at Sherlock_Hulmes pretty much everywhere on the internet. You can check out the main thing I do, which is High Rollers D&D. It's another D&D show here on Twitch. We've been going a very long time, 6 years. Very epic campaign. We are so close to finishing our brand new physical studio. Like, we are doing testing. We are in that final stage. We've hung up all the curtains. Like, it looks like an actual stage now, like an actual production. It looks really good. So come and check that out as soon as you can. And that's it. That's it from me. I tag Mica Burton.
Hi, I'm Mica Burton. You can find me everywhere at Mica Burton. You can also find my dogs that have been running a romper room behind me on Reenie's Instagram at Reenie's Wild Shape. I'm not up to anything right now that's coming out anytime soon. So I tag Anna.
Hi, I'm Anna. You can find me at Anna Prosser everywhere or on my website, annaprosser.com. If you need words said on a stage or on a camera, that's something I can provide. So hit me up on that website. And I will also be seeing you at PAX East with lots of interesting things doing there, performing and boothing and all sorts of stuff. So keep your eye out on social media for that. And I tag Shady.
Hello, I'm Shady. You guys can find me on ShadyPenguinn, and I will also be at PAX, doing nothing cool, but I will be there, and nothing would make my group of normie friends happier if you come up and embarrass me and ask me to sign something ridiculous. So if you have like an Oreo and a silver Sharpie, please, it'll make their day. Yeah, so please do. And then I tag Nate.
I got nothing, and I tag no one. So everyone have a
Everyone's
healthy, fantastic week. Is all I got.
Have a day,
Have a day.
as they say
Yeah.
on Nate's stream.
Which is non-existent. Do breathing exercises. That's what I say.
Those
Drink
are
water.
helpful. Drink water.
Breathing exercises.
Touch
Yeah.
a
A
blade
bit of
of grass.
meditation. Yeah. Touch
All right.
grace.
Touch grace.
All right.
Don't be
grace.
maidenless.
Stop. No, that was yesterday. I have a maiden.
Are we sure? Because that's a pretty maidenless behavior right there.
No.
We will see you next time. Thanks very much for stopping by. Take care. We love you. See ya.